And we're back. This is the Now Morning Show, a positive start to your day, and we give you information, education, and so much more right here with a little bit of sass as well. You
like that
one?
I like that one.
Yeah, a little bit of sass inside of there. Yeah, can't keep it too serious all the time because, you know, that's what the rest of the day is for. So we give you the information, the entertainment, the news, current affairs, but we add a little pizzazz.
And we give you a reason to smile sometimes.
Always. It's so important to smile, you know.
It is. And you know what made me smile this morning?
Yes.
That card you gave me this morning.
Oh.
Yes, from Glenn Hussein that I just received.
Okay.
So, yes.
From Christmas last year.
From Christmas. So I just received it.
I apologize, Glenn. Oh, that was so nice.
Yeah. I know. Thank you so much, Glenn. I really appreciate it. And, you know, so if you didn't hear from me about it, well, it's because I just received the card.
Yeah.
So thank you very much.
I take responsibility for that, Glenn. It was in my car, and I passed it on to Carrie this morning.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, so I know that I'm seeing that your next person that you're going to be speaking with is Allan Balfour.
Right.
Now, I know Allan as a dancer, as one of the
Really?
premier dancers of Trinidad and Tobago, so I'm wondering if it's the same name or if it's the same person.
Well, let's find out. So as we continue to explore the question, can we feed ourselves? At this time, we liaise with Director of Agricultural Services Division at the Ministry of Agriculture, Land and Fisheries, Mr. Allan Balfour. Today, we'll be focusing on seed production and planting materials. Welcome. Good morning.
Good morning, Allan.
Good morning. Hello, TTT. Hello, good morning.
Before you guys started talk, I was saying that people in Trinidad and Tobago have multiple intelligences. And there you are. I had no idea. I know you as one of the best dancers in the Caribbean, or perhaps the world.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
But that's just me storming your interview, Carrie. Please continue.
No, that is all right. Well, you see, you never know what you get on this show. It's always a mixed bag. You know, so that is fantastic. But let's go on to topic, and we are speaking about seed production. What is seed production?
Well, we're talking about seed and planting material production. So not only seed production, but plant production. Basically, we work at the Agricultural Services Division, and our division within the Ministry of Agriculture, Land and Fisheries is responsible for two main things. Basically, for the production of planting material in the form of plants and in the form of seeds. And we produce these for sale to the farming public at different venues. And we also produce this as a form of the preservation of live germplasm, meaning that we have a lot of local varieties that we maintain, sort of like a museum, keep running as live germplasm planted out in the field, and we keep planting it out year by year. So we have that as a repository in the country of these different strategic crops and ornamental plants.
You used the word germplasm. Sorry.
We also have it in the form of cold storage, especially with seeds. They're stored in the National Seed Bank in Chaguaramas in the form of cold storage.
You use the word germplasm twice there. What is germplasm really?
Germplasm basically is plant material. Okay. It's genetic. It's a term that will connotate genetic plant material. So basically, you know that you have an okra plant, but we have various varieties of okra. So in order to maintain that specific variety, we have to do certain practices that will make sure it's not crossed. So we have that same variety going forward from generation to generation. So germplasm basically is plant material.
Oh, I see. So what is needed for proper seed production?
For proper seed production, we really need to have at Chaguaramas, where we have a 100-hectare plot for seed production, which has been there since the 1970s. We have to have very prime soil, and it's been located there because of that. Also because of its isolation, because we want to produce plants that are what we call true to type. They're not crossed. We maintain the same variety and the same genetic material going from year to year. And basically all the things that you will have in order to grow a crop in the farm: good soil, good agricultural practices or agronomic practices, fertilizer, manure, you go and you weed, you have workers doing pesticide application and that sort of thing. and then you time it so that you harvest the seed at the right uh, humidity, relative humidity, because they're not supposed to have a lot of moisture.
Right.
And we harvest it at a correct time, and then we store it. We prepare the seeds properly. There's a processing procedure, and then we store them, and we also make some available for sale to the public for planting.
Just walk us through, in layman's term, the process for, you know, procuring these, not procuring, but for yeah, actually I would use the word procuring and curating these seeds and seed production and planting materials in layman's terms.
In layman terms, the process for procuring it would you really have to start off with a high quality seed material. So the processing is very important. You have to take out all the trash, all the uh, excess leaves and any material that is not desirable. Um, some instances with wet processing, we might have to wash them properly, like with pumpkin seeds and that sort of thing. We make sure that it's dried and we put them in a dryer to make sure it comes to the right relative humidity, moisture content inside of it. And then we put it inside of a cold storage at a certain temperature, so inside the fridge. In layman terms, it will be inside your fridge, but we have a cold storage that maintains a certain amount of temperature and relative humidity. And they can be stored for, up to a couple of years.
Right.
And this is a very important feature within our ministry. In fact, our station at Chagramas has been really newly named National Seed Bank, and that
Okay.
seed bank component speaks to the storage, whereby we store seeds for two main purposes. One, for disaster mitigation. So, like if there's a hurricane up the islands and the farmers are wiped out, we have a reserve of seeds to give them seeds for them
I
to
see.
replant. Not only up the islands, but locally as well. If there's a problem locally, a disaster locally, we have a source of mitigating that disaster. And also for we recently had what we call by our minister a national seed initiative, whereby we have a problem whereby the COVID-19 is putting a lot of stress on the nation, and we want to encourage food security by way of more backyard farmers, more home gardeners.
Right.
So our honorable minister has taken that initiative to distribute 50,000 packets of seeds
Oh,
to different households around the country. So that seed bank really plays a very important role in terms of preserving that seed in case there's a problem. And when we're not talking about seeds as it is, we're talking about the seeds that represent different strategic crops, cereals, vegetables, herbs and spices, etc.
right, right. So, a lot of thought obviously has gone into this, and in case of a worst case scenario as well. Just before we go, there's the topic of budding and grafting. What can you tell us briefly about that?
Well, we talked about seeds. Now we can talk about live, what we call plants, where you can come and purchase your plants for sale. We have three stations: the La Reunion Plant Propagation Station in Centeno, the St. Augustine Nurseries, which is very centrally located, and the Mappa Farms, which is in Manzanilla. And all three are responsible for the production of planting material, um, and in the form of plants.
Right.
These plants can be budded or grafted. Basically, grafting is taking a slip of the young part of of a desirable plant and putting it onto the same plant, but another that is stronger, and making a new uh, improved plant. Basically, what is the benefit of budding and grafting? You can get your crops be producing your fruits very early, much earlier than if it was just a pure seedling.
I see.
So your avocado, your citrus, your mangoes, all of these we have for sale. Lots of minor fruits in the form of pomsiti, passion, pomerax, etc., and even some vegetables. These produce these things quite early when they're
Right.
budded and grafted. So
Excellent.
grafting is taking a part of the plant, just about a couple inches, and putting it onto a hardier plant that will grow and produce the varieties of the first one. Budding is taking the small eye when the buds now come out, and you just slip off the buds
Right.
and put it onto another plant, and so you get the desired characteristics of the bud, the plant that you took it from the bud. And budding is mainly done by citrus, only citrus plants, and grafting is mainly the other type of fruit.
All right. Fantastic. Well, I know
But we
could...
have these plants available for sale
right.
at these 3 stations that I spoke about, and we're encouraging people to come out and, you know, purchase plants, purchase some vegetables, get your backyard farming going, you know. This is all part of our food security trust. It's not only a macro thing whereby we try to reduce the import of food coming in and the food import bill, but also for us to be self-sustainable here on an individual and family level. So we asking, you know, each family can have a little trough with some vegetables and probably 2 fruit trees if your space allows it. And that reduces your own personal...
and definitely help to make people more food secure. With that, we could chat all morning, but with that, we do have to go. I want to thank you for this informative session. That was Director of Agricultural Services Division at the Ministry of Agriculture, Land and Fisheries, Mr. Allan Balfour. Thank you so much. We now go upstairs to the TTT News Center for the news at 7. We'll be back with the second half of the show after that.